Dudes on Movies podcast with your hosts, Scott Charboneau and David Lynn Miller.
Welcome to Dudes on Movies. I'm your dude, Scott.
I'm your dude, Dave.
And today we're discussing 1998's Pi, directed by Darren Aronofsky and starring Sean Gillette and Ben Shankman. Dave, why don't you give everyone a synopsis?
Yes, this is Darren Aronofsky's stylish debut feature in which a reclusive mathematician tries to build a case that because everything in nature can be understood by numbers, then this also means that in any data set, patterns will emerge if you study it closely enough. He's also a well-known figure in academia, and his reputation is now extended to both Wall Street and New York's Hasidic community, both of whom are interested in his research for their own ends. It's about loneliness, cluster headaches, mental illness, social anxiety. It's full of all these ideas that's punctuated by this micro-budget filmmaking, which always makes for a good discussion on our show.
Yeah. And Dave, you threw this on the schedule, so why'd you throw it on there?
Well, I was 21 when this movie came out, and I was angry, and I thought I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this movie was quote-unquote perfect for that type of young man. Because at that time, you perceive it as like its overall narrative as a man who's such a genius that the world couldn't possibly ever understand him. You know, he's too advanced, and I wanted to be thought of that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it again years later, I know now that like many young men had that same perception of themselves.
Yeah.
And I still liked the movie years later, but I had new feelings about all the ways the main character has gone into like self-exile. And that's how that's still a problem for many young people, and it's probably even way worse now with the way we interact. But I wanted to talk about that because it's a movie I've always liked, but depending on how old I was, I liked it for different reasons.
That's awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you watched this film?
It's double digits.
Okay.
And I listened once each to Sean Gillette's and Darren Aronofsky's commentary tracks, but that was years ago.
Okay. That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it twice. The first time was when you lent it to me. You let me borrow your DVD probably 10 years ago or something like that. Do you remember that moment?
We exchanged so many DVDs.
That's true, yeah. But anyway, I remember watching it then. You were like, you got to watch Pi.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I think you were probably secretly like, I hope he really loves this film.
I probably
and
was.
I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't have the same like varying levels of feelings towards it. Like I still like it, right?
Okay.
But it wasn't like you where it grew into different things over time. Right?
Okay.
Because you have a good relationship with it, right?
Yeah.
So, those kind of movies are special.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say why some have that effect on you and why you have a weird relationship with a movie. Whereas, other films like The Godfather, I feel the same way about it now as I did in 1989
Mm-hmm.
when my dad went against my mom's wishes and let me watch it.
I love dads that do that. It's
Yes,
great.
Of course, right.
And you mentioned a micro budget.
Mm-hmm.
This film was pretty low budget. I think I read it was $60,000 to shoot it, and then about another $60,000 to do post-production.
Yeah, they ended up the bill for post production I read was $68,000. So it was slightly more than what they thought originally, and it was like
The back end cost more.
I can't believe and part of it was because of Aronofsky having to insisting on this one particular film stock.
Yeah, right, like a reverse negative or
yeah.
something. I forget what it's called.
There's
yeah.
2 labs in the whole country that process this thing, but it's like, no, he's an artist. He has to,
it
have
was
his
like
vision.
$18,000 for one reel or
Dude,
something.
come on.
Come on, man. But yeah, they I read they got $100 donations from all their friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
and then used that to make the film. And then, fortunately, later on, Artisan Entertainment bought it, and then they gave everyone $150 back. They made a little money on their investment.
Pretty cool. If I invest $100 in a film and someone gives me $150 back, I'm like, hey, I'm a success.
That's cool, man. And then the movie made like $3 million.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great business, and it's what independent filmmaking should always be.
It should, and I wish they all were this good and made that kind of money.
Yeah.
So, this was Darren Aronofsky's first film, and it's quite something. And you can see he has the same trademarks throughout the rest of his films, too. he hasn't really compromised much over the years.
Right. And I remember specifically a friend of mine around this same time, maybe a couple years later, he saw Requiem for a Dream before he saw Pi. And when I loaned him Pi, he went back and said, "Oh my God, all that same stuff that was like all those camera stuff, that was going on in Pi." I said, "Yeah.
All that snorri cam."
Dude, I don't know if you stayed around for the end credits, but the Snorri brothers are credited, like, actually in the credits of this film. So, like, I think it might have been, like, maybe they invented it for this movie. I don't even know. They might have.
I know it was around this time when it was invented.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
I mean, and I mentioned it on our, what have you been watching? You, like, asked me about Snorri Cam on that. And, you know, and it's not so bad in this film. There's a few moments where I'm like, all right, come on, stop it. But, yeah. No, it's not so bad.
Right. It's a little more out of control in Requiem, for sure.
If you guys don't know Snorri Cam, it's where it's attached, the camera is attached to the actor's body facing them or like behind them. So as they move, the camera moves with them. So they kind of remain center frame no matter what is happening. And the background is kind of moving around. It gives a feeling of uneasiness and disorientation.
Yes.
And that's what it's used to represent in the films. But I just don't like it for some reason. It just bothers me. I don't know why.
Well, I think because you can see the strings. It looks like you're making a film instead of like representing something visually that's supposed to be dreamlike.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? It's a good filmmaking technique that people use. And, you know, go for it.
Yep, if you want to use it, use it.
Yeah. So how about we start talking about the movie?
Let's do it.
What do you say? Let's get into it. The credits start and we see a bunch of decimals on the screen. We see brain synapses firing, and it's all over this like techno music, this score that has a very big pulsing techno edge to it.
Yeah, this is Clint Mansell's score. He's in the film later. He plays like the Englishman who like Max chases down in the subway.
The guy with the camera?
Yes.
Okay.
And now when this theme hits, there are more iconic scores in cinema history, obviously.
Yeah.
But this one, I know. I just know it backward and forward. Mm-hmm. Like I can just sing all the notes, and I have. I was in the shower this morning going. I mean, like I just know it. And I mean, the theme hits, and I'm thinking about math, and then the drums come in, and I'm picturing like Keith Flint dancing like a maniac. There you go, exactly.
Yeah. Dude, it's amazing.
This is like cyberpunk electronica from 1998.
Yes.
And it's where you want to be.
Dude, and a lot of people, I think, were introduced to this stuff from The Matrix, because they used a huge electronica soundtrack, but this was before The Matrix release.
Yes.
Like, so they were in on it beforehand.
Right. And I mean, I was like watching MTV late at night at that time and, you know, watching Prodigy videos.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Firestarter?
Yes.
Rules, man.
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff. But yeah, it's all that type of music that makes up this score. And we're seeing all these numbers flashing on the screen, you know, numbers and tickers and drawings and theories popping up on the screen. And so it's a mathematics movie.
Right. And even though it is about complicated mathematics, you don't have to be a great math student to understand it.
No, not at all.
Right.
Because some of it's probably bullshit.
Of course. Yes, that's a big part of it, too.
And so, anyway, the credits end with an explosion. Because you might as well.
Also, too, the whole thing about, like, you know, whether you're watching it, you know, at age 21 or like later on in life, like that part of it, the bullshit part of it. Like, when you see it as a young person, you're like, oh my God, you know, but like, because you're not
mind blown. Yes. Holy cow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You don't know about the Fibonacci sequence. No one's ever told you about that in, you know, public school. But yeah, all this other stuff, it's probably not totally accurate.
Yes. And so after the explosion, we get to meet our main character, Max Cohn, played by Sean Gillette.
Right.
He wakes up and he has a bloody nose. And this is a through line of the film. He keeps waking up, has bloody noses, kind of lost time for a moment. And so he's washing it off, and he goes into this voiceover about how he was 6 years old and he started to stare at the sun. His mom told him not to do it, but he decided to do it anyway. And he couldn't see after that because he didn't look away. Didn't know if he'd ever see again. And he tells that story a few times throughout the movie.
Yes.
A lot of voiceover in the film.
Yes, and I like the use of voiceover here. It's great.
Yeah.
I think Sean Gillette does a great job, and I also just like that for a character who doesn't want to talk to people, then you really can't have a movie unless you're doing voiceover. So
Yeah.
it's not just like Spackle. You actually do need it here.
Yeah, he's got to at least entertain us a little bit, right?
Sure, right.
Yeah, we can see kind of what he's thinking through his actions, but we can't get a good grasp of his mania without the voiceover.
Yeah, right. And this story about, when I was 6 years old, my mother told me not to stare in the sun. So one day I did. And we get, in this first time he makes the speech, we just get a portion of the story. Mm-hmm. And then like later on, when things start to really go pear-shaped for everything, he like tells you the whole thing about how he was, rushed to the hospital and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is just showing what his daily life is like. He walks around sometimes. He goes outside sometimes when he needs to eat. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the time, he is in this studio apartment in Chinatown, and he does not want to see people.
Right.
There's a little girl who lives upstairs who knows he's a mathematician and knows that he can do complex math in his head, and she is very just enthusiastic about that. So she's got a calculator, and she'll give him, like this impossible math problem, and he calculates it in seconds.
Yes. She surprises him a few times in the movie with it, because he's looking through his peephole on his door to make sure no one's out there when he leaves.
Yes.
That way he doesn't have to talk to people, just like I do. And so is the neighbor out? Okay, I'll take the trash out later. It's fine. But she surprises him with this, and that's how we get to know, okay, this guy's kind of a prodigy, like a techno prodigy. A math prodigy, She has the calculator. What's 4,603 divided by 6.9? And he just immediately knows the answer.
Uh-huh.
And she's so fascinated with it. But anyway, yeah, he entertains her because it's a little girl, and he doesn't want to be the rudest person in the entire universe, even though he can be quite rude to people.
Yes, his interactions with Jenna, the little kid, are about as nice as he gets.
Yeah.
And it's still not super nice, but he just is like, okay, yeah, give me the math problem. And then he does it, and then he gets one more, and that's it for today.
Yep. And then there's even one time when she's comes to him, and he's like, no, not now, Jenna.
Yes.
Close the door on her face. Yeah.
Like what you said about looking through the peephole. Yeah, he's looking around. Is there anybody there? Yeah. And then Jenna is
small.
She's 6 years old. She doesn't register in the peephole.
Yeah, she's got peephole protection.
That's right.
And so we get more voiceover, and he's kind of cataloging his day. He'll timestamp it and then say what's happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, 9:45, restate my assumptions. Mathematics is the language of nature. There are patterns everywhere, and it just goes on like that. Yeah. And it happens throughout the film many times. And you mentioned in the synopsis here, we learn that, there's this theory that everything can be explained by mathematics. The entire universe, how it works, there's this one unifying equation or something. And that is a theory that a lot of people think might be out there.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been proven, and I don't know if you could ever prove it. It's just too vast to figure out. There's too many variables. That's kind of what Soul says later in the film.
Yes, and it's also, this is part of the smoke-filled Denny's conversations that you had at age 20.
Yeah, you went and saw Pie, then you went out and had a Denny's conversation, and then, is this one of your legendary Denny's encounters?
Man. Yeah, there was at least one 6-hour sesh where this was all discussed.
God, man, there's coffees and cigarettes, and yeah.
100%.
Pancakes.
There was a French dip for me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah, dude.
And so we get to see how frantic he is and all this stuff. And he's doing some research on stock market with his theories. And so in his apartment, he has this stock ticker running across, and he's trying to feed information into it and predict what the outcomes of all these stocks are going to be. They're going to go up, they're going down, how many points, all this stuff.
Yes, and he defends this hypothesis by saying that because it's just numbers, and there are a lot of millions of people manipulating the numbers, and tons of people's just like their mind and their with their work, that it's a vast network screaming with life, he says, a natural organism. So if that's the case, then that means that patterns can emerge if you study it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, so he wants to come at this altruistically. He's just interested in it from a science and math perspective. But if it is the stock market, and that is the case, then what is his motivation if he's not looking to get rich?
Yeah, because what more dangerous thing can you try to predict?
Yeah, that's right.
If you can know what's going to happen in the stock market, you can do whatever you want. You become the richest. You can become Biff Tannen in Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes.
You'll have a sports almanac with all the answers in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is like, you're only, the only reason to do this is to, I mean, other than proving it's possible, is you'd use it somehow. And how do you use it? You'd try to get rich with it.
Right. And if he's going to try to publish this, I mean, that's going to be public knowledge
That's
then
right.
too. And how does that affect the system, actually? Like, that's crazy, isn't it?
Well, I guess it would be totally world-changing because, I mean, the global economy wouldn't exist as we know it anymore.
Right, it'd be totally different.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
Right. So maybe he would end up saving the world.
Yeah.
Because we'd have that... yeah. If there is no system of exchange anymore and no one needs money, then it just becomes like Star Trek TNG.
We'll find a way to fuck it up, dude. Humans are good at it. It's fine.
True. You're right.
We'll just divide it by 0.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Anyway,
we'll make it happen.
Yep. And so while he's looking at the stock market and all that crap, he gets a phone call, and there's a voice on the phone. It's this lady, Marcy Dawson. She's asking him about some kind of offer. Have you thought about our stuff? And he's like, leave me alone.
Right.
He doesn't want to talk to this person.
Yeah, and Marcy, we see her throughout the film. She represents a firm called Lancet Percy. It's I guess some like Goldman Sachs. It's a big investment firm on Wall Street.
Yeah, and Pamela Hart plays Marcy. We see her later in the film several times, and I think she's really good in it.
Yeah,
she's playing this. I mean, it's a person who wants the answer to the stock market,
right?
And what do you think they're going to do with that information?
I mean,
and what do you think they'll do to get it?
Yeah, everything we just talked about. I mean, like if it gets into the wrong hands, which it will, even before it's published. I mean, they want in on it. Even like I guess that's what they're after
funding
him
his
for.
research. They want to fund his research so that they can get this information,
right? Because they wouldn't share this with another firm. And yeah, if I guess if he puts it in an academic journal, that it does them no good because now everybody's got it.
Right, yeah. So they need it for themselves.
Yes.
But he's not interested in that. Like you said, he's only interested in the scientific pursuit.
Yep.
And so at one point we meet his neighbor, Devi, and she shows up and like gives him cookies and stuff like that.
She gives him some samosas.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Every time she interacts with him, she seems a little flirty.
Yeah.
And he seems a little afraid of her. And
he seems a lot afraid of her.
He's like, I think he's interested in her, but he doesn't have the skills to talk to her.
Like, he stands there and like this is great acting from Sean Gillette because she is at one point his hair is standing on end.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, Max, she walks over and what are you doing? And like, he's obviously
his hair,
yes. I mean, he's really,
don't touch me.
He's really turned on by this. And he's managing to make it look like he's not.
I know, right? Yeah. And I mean, she's a good looking woman. She's played by Samia Qube. And apparently she's with this guy named Farouk, but I don't know what her end game is with Max. She seems to like him.
Yeah,
so.
I think she just likes Max. I think she's probably drawn to him because she might know who he is, that he's like this great genius. And of course, that would be attractive.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's with Farouk, but she likes to flirt with Max.
That's what she's into.
Sure,
I mean, that's what she likes to do, right? And so, anyway, he goes out and gets coffee at some diner at some point, and this is where we get introduced to Lenny, Ben Shankman's character.
Man, I love Ben Shankman. He's a great actor, and Angels in America will always be special for me. I've seen that like that HBO miniseries they made so many times, and someday I want to go see this play on or off Broadway. I know I won't see Ben Shankman in it, but he was in the I don't know if it was the original Broadway company, but he performed on Broadway before it became an HBO thing. He plays Lewis, one of the main characters in the story, and like this was my first exposure to him was Pi, and I didn't know who he was, and when he comes into this diner, like it's this. He has this way of speaking that's like, have you ever encountered this where you're trying to, like, you're by yourself and you just want to be left alone, but somebody just comes in, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, I mean, like...
Some random person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone you don't know wants to bend your ear about God knows what.
Yes. I hate this.
It does. Yeah,
I
it
really
sucks.
hate that.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone, please.
Right.
I made sure no one was in the hallway when I left. No one was in the diner when I got... Please leave me alone.
Right.
Yes. But no, Lenny keeps... yapping at him, even though he can tell Max is like not wanting to be bothered.
Yes.
And he starts talking to him about Judaism and stuff because he realizes, oh, a fellow Jew, don't worry, me too, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And so Max eventually just like gets out of there. He's like, I can't talk to this guy.
And Lenny is Hasidic, so he's got the beard and the hat and everything. Yeah. And when Max first introduced him, he's like, Max what? He's Cohen. Oh, Max. Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
Yep.
And he wants to talk to him about Judaism. And when Max tells him, look, I'm kind of busy, he goes, hey, I understand. And then he's just quiet for like 2 seconds. And he goes, it's just that right now is a very exciting time for us. And he wants to go on and on about some high holidays and stuff. And like, Max is just not interested.
Right, yeah. And so he gets out of there. I think he starts having an attack.
Yes.
In the diner. Is that true?
His hand starts shaking a bit.
Yeah. And so, kind of like at the beginning of the film, we said he woke up with a bloody nose. He had an attack. He's starting to have one now. And so we cut to him in his bathroom, and he's administering these injections to himself. He has all this medicine to help him with these terrible headaches and seizures that he's having. And in this scene, we see him get this, like, it's like an injection gun. He puts this vial in it and puts it into his arm and then fires it, and it, like, all the medicine goes in.
Yeah, I've seen this done with to treat migraines before, this particular gun.
Okay.
And it's called Imitrex, I think, the name of the medication. You do it in your leg, too.
Yeah.
It's just...
A migraine gun.
Yeah.
Oh man, I know some migraines you do want to shoot yourself. Like they're pretty bad.
Of course.
But anyway, he has to do that, and he's sitting in his chair, and he's like his hands are trembling and look like they're locking up a little. And we get a lot of frantic camera work on this. Lots of close-ups of his eyes and like his fingers curling, and like, quick cuts between all this stuff with that pulsating soundtrack going.
Dun and like when you hear the you see the medicine bottle open, and then pills pour into his hand, and then they go up to his mouth, and then water comes out. And this is all like with these quick cuts, like you said. And then there's this pulsating techno music underneath it. And he starts to talk again. And he's giving you, like his assessment of his most recent work. And then there's always there's some significance about every time he presses return on his his keyboard. He's built this supercomputer he calls Euclid. A friend of mine built a setup like this. It had components from I don't know how many different computers. And he even had the same attitude as Max. He was hard to take sometimes.
Okay.
But it's stuff that people still do now with their home PCs. I mean, if you go to someone who's like a really serious, either computer science or gaming, whatever it is, I mean, people have like this kind of thing.
Yep.
And his spring-loaded keyboard that he has taken the cover off of, he knows it's time to press return, and he tells 12:30, press return.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, what's this going to do? And whenever it does, like that's when the theme song kicks in, and a bunch of shit happens in his computer.
Yep.
And we don't know exactly what it is, but we know it has something to do with math.
Right, and I love it. It's movie computer stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely. And in this scene, he's in his chair, seizing still, and his door starts to rattle. Like he has all these locks on the inside of his door.
Yeah, 6 deadbolts.
Yeah, and they all start rattling on the hinges, and they start to unlock, and the door comes open and the whole frame fills with this bright white light. Kind of like if you looked at the sun, I would say. And then we cut to Max. He's under the bathroom sink and he's coming to. He had some kind of crazy mind trip during this seizure. He,
like you said about losing the time. I mean, who knows what happens during the seizures, what he goes through. And when you wake up and you don't remember how you got there, usually that happens as a result of like binge drinking, which is bad. But if it happens because of some crippling headache you had, I mean, I don't know which one's worse.
You can't control your headache. That's for sure.
That's true.
You can't go to some clinic and get off the headaches,
That's true, right.
Ain't working. And so, he wakes up, he's got the bloody nose, everything again. And he ends up going over to his, mentor's apartment.
Yeah.
Soul, played by Mark Margolis.
Yeah, great. I think this was the first time I saw Mark Margolis, too, was this movie.
Yeah, one of the earliest times I probably saw him before this, but yeah.
Yeah. Great performance.
I think Ace Ventura was the first time I saw him, honestly,
And the thing is, it's weird that I'm one of the weirdos who saw Pi before I saw Ace Ventura.
That's okay. Right? I think you were right.
Probably so, yeah.
But he's a retired mathematician who, I guess, took Max under his wing. And Max is kind of continuing Soul's work.
Yes, Max was his best student. And he runs down Max's credentials at one point. You were published at 16, you had your PhD by age 20, and you're just, you're, of course, first time I saw this movie, of course, I was like, what have I done with my life?
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have your big breakthrough by 21.
No, I was at the time fixing tires and scrubbing the floor of this shop I worked in, which is fine. That's fine work. If that's how you make your living, it's okay. But I remember just thinking to myself, I haven't accomplished anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was so smart.
You are.
And I was, sure, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really thought I should have been doing more with my life,
Right, and then did you start to apply yourself because of this film?
So shortly afterward, I got a real job for the first time, and it wasn't probably as a result of this film. It was just kind of happenstance. But it's weird that they all wind up like this. But yeah, I eventually I started to be a member of society.
Cool.
Yeah.
Unlike Max.
Right.
And so, he gives us the rundown, and he starts warning Max, hey, you're starting to get a little too crazy about this stuff. Maybe you need to take a step back from this.
Yes.
He warns him, just like Icarus, you're getting too close to the sun, you're gonna get burned.
Uh-huh.
So, then we cut to the subway, and Max is on there, and he says he's doing the log in the voiceover log again. He's like, personal note. And he says something about how Soul died a little when he stopped researching Pi, and he was so close, and how could you be so close to something like that and just let it go? And he keeps frenetically saying all this kind of stuff about Soul, and then about Pi, and then about numbers, and how there's the simplicity of a circle, and then the maddening endless string of numbers. He just keeps running on and on with all this stuff about mathematics and the possibilities of the universe and stuff.
Yes, and his criticism of Saul's giving up on his work on Pi. He obviously can't understand what it's like for someone, although he should understand what it's like for someone to not have their health because he doesn't have his. And
maybe he doesn't realize that, I don't think.
Well, he's got to know that these headaches are coming from somewhere. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
I mean, and it's like when Saul had his stroke, he stopped teaching, and he now, I guess, is just kind of on disability or something like that. He lives a monastic life where he just reads his books and feeds his fish. Mm-hmm. And Max cannot accept that. That is not any kind of a life. I'm not going to become a great Go player. I want to understand the universe. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't like that Saul gave this up. And it's one of the it's something that he's in conflict with Saul over this, throughout the rest of the movie.
Right.
And does he take this guy's newspaper in this moment?
I don't think it's this one, but the guy starts singing to him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
He's singing I only have eyes for you.
Yes.
This guy starts crooning on the subway.
Yes, it's Stanley Herman, who is in Aronofsky's other films.
Mm-hmm.
his most famous role is in Requiem for a Dream. It's in the last sequence.
Okay.
When Keith David says, all right, or like it's they're at Keith David's house and they're having that big party and Jennifer Connelly is being dehumanized. He says, ass to ass.
Oh, he's the ass to ass guy.
Yes, that's him.
Great.
Yes. In this one, he's crooning. He starts singing, I Only Have Eyes for You. And
big contrast.
He's credited as Mustacheless Man.
What? That is not a good descriptor.
It's not.
If everyone had mustaches except him, then it would be fine.
It's such bullshit.
I wonder if he picked his own character name.
It could. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, but so he's singing this song and Max kind of looks away and then looks back and the guy's not there.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, was he ever there? Is this all in Max's mind? What's happening?
Right. Max is starting to like, he's getting so far into his own mind and his own criticisms of everything that he might have hallucinated a man singing a song in the subway.
He might have hallucinated the ass to ass guy. That's how bad it is.
That's terrifying.
And he goes into the diner again. Lenny shows up and starts bothering him again. And, you know, he gets some information out of Max, like about, oh, he's a mathematician. Because he's like writing stuff down and Lenny notices this. And he starts talking about, oh yeah, like I'm into math too. Like the Hebrew, it's all math, you know. All these numbers of the letters all add up to numbers and stuff like that. And he lists out like all the symbols for mother, like add up to 41, and father adds to 3, and child is 44, which is 41 plus 3. And like, he goes into all these little things like that. Like it's all connected. There's some secret here.
Right. Him and his fellow students at the Torah at the shul, they're studying their Torah, and they are like affixing values to all these characters, and they're trying to come up with trying to find a number in this in this pattern. And at one point, Max actually even tells him, you know, he says that's kind of interesting after Lenny tells him
he
all
likes
this stuff,
it.
right? And as Lenny continues, Max recognizes that he's using 144 and 233, which are Fibonacci sequence figures.
Yep.
And that he has to explain to Lenny what the Fibonacci sequence is. And it's essentially, it represents the golden ratio. And there's this infinite spiral that is seen throughout nature. And Lenny is, you know, very fascinated by this. But then this is when Max, like, his hand starts trembling again.
Yeah. I think I don't know if he gets some kind of... I felt like he got inspiration of some kind by this too. And maybe that's why he started trembling. I don't know. But then he leaves.
Yeah, and when he added cream to his coffee, he started to see the spiral in there too.
Yeah. And so he leaves and he starts to restate his hypothesis again in the voiceover. And he's back in his apartment and the music's playing and he's putting some numbers into the stock market computer again to try to like crack this code. And he's about to push enter, but he starts to hear the sounds of his neighbor having sex, Devi and Farouk. And it's not like extremely loud, but it's enough where you can hear it and know what's going on. And you can tell it's bothering him.
Yeah.
And he's hesitant, but then eventually he pushes return, you know, like 12:30, push return. And the power goes out. And the computer spits out from the printer this long sequence of numbers. It's about like maybe a fifth of this page, just a long sequence of these what appears to be random numbers. And so he's got to like fix the fuse, puts a penny in it, you know, which I heard is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what happened. He says it was human error. But he's got this printout that for some reason came out of the computer. And he's like, what the hell is this?
Right. And he's studying the digits. He doesn't know where it came from or what it represents. And he just keeps looking at it. He ends up going to the park staring at this printout. And he can't make sense of it. So he eventually wads it up and throws it away.
Yeah. He gets frustrated about it. Like, what the hell? Like,
right.
It's just computer crap or something. He throws it out. And when he was like investigating his computer, he noticed that ant crawling on it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess it's a literal computer bug.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the subtlest metaphor.
No, and like his computer setup is crazy, like you mentioned, but he literally has this like computer case hanging from the ceiling by these 4 like elastic bands, and it's one clear box, and in the center's like a microchip hanging in the center of this box. It's really weird looking. And I mean, it's not a practical functioning real life computer. It would never be like that.
No.
It's a cinematic thing.
Right.
Like, they were just like, this looks really cool. We'll just have it set up like this.
Yes.
But he checks it out, and there's like slime on it, on the microchip, and he gets really pissed off about his computer being broken and there's bugs and slime on it, and he like starts stepping on it and destroying it.
Yeah, he even put on a mask before and like rubber gloves before he started working on it.
Yeah, I guess it's that precious.
Right.
I mean, when you do deal with that kind of technology, like you do need clean rooms and stuff when you're
Yes.
developing these things. But I mean, if you got a consumer grade computer part, you don't need to do that.
I would think not. No, I mean, like if you took apart your tablet, you wouldn't have to like actually like you're handling plutonium.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's-
You're suiting up, right? You're not doing it.
I'm dressed like FW Murnau so I can like work on my computer.
Yeah, and so yeah, what a weird day with this computer, man.
Right.
And I guess the next day he goes and visits Saul again, and he's telling him about what happened with the computer and this printout. And then Saul completely changes his demeanor. He's like, well, what were the numbers it printed out? He's like extremely fascinated by the numbers. And Max is kind of surprised by that.
Well, how many digits was it, Max? Was it 100, 300, 216? Which was it?
Yeah.
And Max is like, it looked like it was about 200. Might have been 216. And he says, okay, well, and he says that he, quote, ran into the 216-digit number while he was working on Pi.
Mm-hmm. A similar anomaly.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's kind of reinvigorated by this, right?
Right.
But he's also scared because he knows what happened to him when the situation occurred in his past. It caused him to have the stroke. It caused him to have to retire from what he loved doing.
Yeah, and that's the other part that I don't like Max. I don't like his criticism of Saul for that reason because, like, the work itself is what almost killed Saul. And so for Max to be critical of him for that, to quit because it was getting too much for him physically, that's not fair. I mean, if something is going to kill you, then stop doing it.
Exactly,
Hopefully,
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It's not like your job is being on the frontier of space discovery and you're on some ship where, okay, here's a weird thing in space. I have to investigate this. I might die. No, you're researching a number in a college somewhere. You don't have to risk your life.
Absolutely not. Yes, and when it comes, that's right. If you're doing some study that is going to kill you, and you know it's going to, then you have to stop.
And they get into like a big argument about how Max is not understanding the risk involved with this stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And so after this encounter, they go back. He's back on the subway again. And this is where he does take the paper from ass to ass. And because he sees him reading the paper and he's like, hey, let me see that. And the stock market number has changed like by 6.5 points or something. And he's like, oh my God, that's what my numbers were. Like some of my numbers were right.
Because on the printout with the 216-digit number, there was also a printout of like 6 different stocks, and they were at the top of it. And Max sees it in the paper that Euclid predicted them spot on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he gets off the train, and the guy starts following him, and we get like a mini chase sequence where he's following him through the subway, and he's trying to escape. It's more of that frenetic editing, where it's up close on him and then quick movements of him like running up the stairs and then a shot of the other guy following and all that stuff. And he ultimately comes up above the ground and he bumps into Marcy Dawson, who's just happens to be there. I guess it's near his house.
Yeah.
So she bumps into him, is like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?"
And she's got these goons with her.
Oh my god, ready to beat up this mathematician.
That's right, dude.
Yeah. And so he's like, "Hey, I can't talk now," and he starts running away, and he runs back to the like the trash can where he threw away the numbers, and he's digging through the trash, and he can't find the numbers, and he keeps throwing all this junk on the ground, and there's this old lady who's his landlord watching him do it from the other side of the fence, and he sees her, and he's like, "Oh, I threw something away, I gotta find it," and she's just shaking her head like, "Oh my god, Max, not I knew you were crazy."
This lady's really mean.
She kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like, she is just, like, she suspects the worst of him. And it's like, look, if you see somebody, if I was a landlord and one of my tenants was digging through the trash, I wouldn't shake my head in disbelief and go, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Right. I'd be like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?
What's wrong? Do you need any help?"
Yes.
Yeah. No, she doesn't do that. Instead, she goes and tattletales on him.
Yes.
To Marcy Dawson.
Oh man, she dimes on Max.
Which I don't understand really why she would do that.
Because she's just a mean lady.
I guess, but like, what is she telling Marcy? Like, "Hey, remember Max? Yeah, he's being weird over there." Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
It could be just like mainly like she just doesn't understand the severity of what Marcy represents, and this must be some person looking for Max, and I'm just going to point. Oh yeah, that's him over there.
Yeah, he's over there. He's over there.
Right.
And then Max notices they're over there talking and pointing at him, and then is this where Lenny bumps into him? He like comes around and bumps him. He's like, "Oh, hey Max, let's go get some coffee or something. I got my car right there." And he's like, "Wait, you got a car? Okay, let's go."
It's another of my favorite Ben Shankman moments. Lenny goes, hey Max, how's it going? You got a minute? You got 5 minutes?" And he's, "Oh, you want to try to fill in?" It's right.
Like a real Seinfeld encounter, you know? Like, you're just on this New York City street, and then you bump into some dude.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, he gets in his car. That way he can escape from Marcy and his evil landlord.
Yes. But yeah, Lenny wants to take him over to the synagogue because they're going to do this tefillin thing. And, like, you see them getting everything ready, and Lenny has already got his on. He's got the band wrapped around his arm, and, and the thing of verses on his head, and dude, okay, it's another Ben Shankman thing. I like on our Napoleon Dynamite episode, I mentioned like I thought Tina Majorino's character could like become successful ASMR YouTuber with her fashion shoots.
Yes,
I think the same thing can happen with Lenny Meyer.
Yeah,
like,
could
if the video was Ben Shankman as Lenny speaking Hebrew softly and asking you to repeat after him, that might work. Dude, I'd watch it.
That could work.
Yes.
Definitely.
And the whole point of this scene is that, like, as Lenny is telling Max what they're doing, and he says, "Listen, when you said your name was Max Cohen, I didn't realize you were the Max Cohen. Your work is really revolutionary." And he says he would love to really, talk to him more about it because, in our studies, we're trying to find this, the 216-digit number that, when translated, would be the real name of God. Mm-hmm. And, well, that's not revealed in this scene quite yet, but, that'll be
a little later,
right.
But
they're trying to find this thing for their studies. And Max is like, "Wait a minute, 216 digits? What?" Yep. And that's when Lenny's like, "Okay, listen, Max, we got to be really quiet now." And that's when he does the, start doing the prayers.
Right, yeah. And then we cut to him back at Soul's place, and he's telling him about what he learned with Lenny. Like, "Hey, I just met with Lenny, and we're talking about the Torah and this 216-digit number and all these stock picks and all this stuff." And he's telling Soul how, these picks were right. Like, the machine was right. Like, there's something with this number. And Soul has to explain to him, like, maybe you're just reading into things.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing 216 anywhere you look. You look hard enough, you'll manifest it. It's not really there, but you'll find ways to justify, "Oh yeah, that adds up to this, and that's 216, and then that's a square with an oval, and then there's 216 points on that." And like, you're just making all these random things have meaning, but it's not really there.
And he's right about that. It's just that this other coincidence is not a coincidence. When Max's printout had a 216-digit number, mm-hmm. and then 2 days later, Lenny tells him that they're looking for a 216-digit number in the Torah, that has meaning.
That does have meaning.
And
yes.
I know why Saul doesn't want to pursue it, because he's not able-bodied right now. But he is technically right about Max needing to take a break too, because that's just in general.
That's true.
If you just work nonstop,
hey,
and you never...
you need a vacation, dude.
Yes, you
do.
Right.
Yeah, but he is trying to dissuade him from, I guess, going as crazy as he is.
Right.
So
he even tries to explain the Go board that's in front of him. There's the game Go that Max and Saul play together.
The Chinese game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he first, even in this conversation, Saul looks at it and goes, "Now look, here's the thing. It's very simple, but the possibilities of the Go game is endless. No two Go games have ever been alike." And Max argues, well, yes, but as the game progresses, patterns begin to emerge, and there's less complexity because there's only so many more moves you can make.
Right. Hence, you can start to predict things.
Yes.
And that's what he feels like with nature and the Torah thing they've been discussing.
Right.
Without any information, there is infinite possibilities, but we have something.
Yeah.
We can predict as long as we keep researching on it.
Right.
We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Soul is just I don't know, man. Maybe you shouldn't.
I mean, he would really like Max to take a break, and
and he's saying you're not really being scientific about this either. You're kind of just he says you're not being a mathematician, now you're being a numerologist.
Oh man, sick burn.
Yeah, dude. That probably really hurt his feelings.
I bet it did, yeah.
How dare you? Yeah. And, I mean, we can see he's being warned.
Yeah.
Right? He's being warned.
And that's key, because, someone told him, don't do this, so he has been told.
Yep. And then, so he goes back home, and Marcy Dawson is outside his place again,
This lady,
harassing him, hey, we need you to do this stuff. And Max really lays into her this time, and it's I don't want your fucking money. You guys are being too aggressive. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, fine. I agree. We are being a little too aggressive, but we do want your help with this, and we need it, and we will fund you and get you anything you need. He's like, I don't need your money. And she pulls out this suitcase, and she opens it, and it's this computer chip. And he says something about how that's not even declassified yet.
Yes.
I don't know. He knows all about this chip.
The Ming Mecha.
The mini mecha?
Ming Mecha.
Oh, Ming Mecha.
Yeah, this apparently, highly rare computer chip that hasn't been declassified yet.
Nothing but the best, right? You can use this to do math. And he's very tempted by this. And so he starts to have one of his attacks here, and he's on a subway bench. He's doing snorri cam, and he's beating his head with his hands and stuff. And he ends up getting off the subway at one point, and he sees a guy on the other platform across the rail, and it looks kind of like Lenny, or maybe another Hasidic Jew over there, and he runs up the stairs and goes over and goes back down, but the guy's not there anymore. But there's a puddle of blood and a trail leading from the blood over to some stairs somewhere, and he follows it. And sitting on the stairs is a human brain with some ants around it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a surreal image, and we haven't really touched on that too much. We've mentioned a lot of the freneticness of it and quick cuts and stuff, but the movie does have a few surreal elements to it and feels a little experimental. I mean, it's a very low budget independent film, so you do get a lot of that stuff with films like this.
Well, when you were describing the opening credits and all the various imagery, it felt a lot like Dead Ringers. There's when you watch that opening, there's this. It's not a slideshow. You'll see the Da Vinci Vitruvian Man, which dissolves into a golden spiral, which dissolves into pi r squared.
Yeah, there's a Pythagorean theorem flying across the screen.
Right.
Yeah,
and I love that style. It's great. It's really arresting to look at. But this brain sitting in the subway.
It's moist.
Yes,
oh.
and it's bloody.
Yeah.
And the ants all over it. And he gets out this
These are the
ballpoint pen.
big carpenter ants, too.
Yes,
It's not like the tiny ones.
Right, they're big-ass ants. He gets out this ballpoint pen, and he starts...
Don't poke it!
Don't poke the brain! And he does. He when the first time the pen hits it, it goes like... Bing! Like there's this like note on the soundtrack, like warning you, don't do this. So he gets back a little bit. Then he starts doing it again, and it warns him again. Then he puts the pen in the brain.
And inserts it.
Yes. And
dude.
Yeah. And then that alarm starts to sound like it's sustained, and that's when he passes out.
Yeah, he turns around when the note hits, and he sees a train coming for him with the big bright light on the front of the train. And yeah, once again he's engulfed in the white light and passes out, dude. I mean, when that pen squishes into the brain, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's really gross because it's a real prop. I don't know where they got this brain. It's not a human brain, probably. It's probably an animal brain.
I
hope. But it's a real organ, and you see someone's hand with a Bic pen going into the damn brain.
Dude, oh.
And the other thing about this, too, like this whole sequence, and every time we see anything with the subway, this was all illegal. They didn't have permits. So they had to film it at 3 a.m. And they had to make sure to get everything right because the cops were coming.
I read, I think I was reading IMDb, and they said something about how, he gets off one side of the platform and it's at 110th Street or something. But then you look on the other side of the platform, they're on 8th Street or something.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, and then when they go up to Coney Island, that's a 50-minute ride and stuff like that. So it's all cut together. The end of that fun fact was funny though. The guy's like, was this intentional to show the manic state of Max, or is it just a typical F train ride? Which I was like, that's great. New York City subway jokes, man. That's funny. But yeah, I love how they did it guerrilla style.
Yeah.
And so he wakes up on a train bleeding from the nose. It's the last stop. The conductor has woke him up. Hey, you got to get off, dude.
Right, we're in Coney Island now.
Coney Island now, last stop. And he gets out and he sees some guy on the beach with a metal detector, and he picks up some seashell, throws it down. Then Max goes and looks at it. And it's one of those big spiraled seashells, and he's looking at it, and the camera just kind of zooms real close in on the spiral of the nature of the shell.
Yeah.
And
it's that Nautilus pattern that we all recognize.
Mm-hmm. And so he ends up going home, and he's investigating his computer, and he starts getting the goop on his fingers, the goop that was on his microchips. He starts sniffing it, and then he licks it.
I couldn't believe it when he put that goop in his mouth. Max, what do you do? I mean, would you lick the acid off your batteries that you pull out of your remote?
Right. I mean, the Nintendo Switch, they made their cartridges taste bad so kids wouldn't eat them. Maybe he's testing this out. Hey, this has to be safe for kids.
Look, I've tasted a lot of questionable things. I had a handful of pennies in my mouth one time. It tasted like Listerine.
Oh, those are the worst, man.
Yeah.
Pennies are pretty bad. Batteries, pennies.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of questionable shit, but I wasn't, 30 years old. No, I never licked goop that I fished out of my microchip. Never, dude.
Micro goop. And so he has the goop, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to get out my microscope. I'm going to do some science on this shit. And he ends up having to go to Devi's place next door, and he asks her for some iodine. And she's at the door, and she starts flirting with him science, the pursuit of knowledge. What are you examining? A potato? Which I just love her delivery of that. It's great.
I also love that she has iodine.
Me too.
Is that an ordinary household article?
It used to be 80 years ago.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
But not anymore. And yeah, she gives it to him. He goes back and examines the slime, and it's all spirally when he's up real close under this microscope. What's with the spirals, man?
Yeah.
He's onto something. And then he starts going into voiceover about the golden ratio and Pythagoras and all that stuff. And he has a new hypothesis. If we're all made of spirals and everything we touch is a spiral, then the secret is in the spiral.
Yeah.
So something with the golden ratio. He's got a new lead, I guess.
So I have to say, before we go any further, I knew this day would come where we'd be talking about pi, and I want to know what all this means. And it's so hard to articulate these ideas because you just did a good job with Max's new hypothesis. But after seeing this movie this many times, I'm still fairly in the dark about, the greater meaning of this stuff. I know what the point of this movie is. I get that. I'm fine. But it's just stuff like this always makes me want to pursue knowledge further, of course, so that I can articulate it better. But yeah, there we go.
There you go. Okay, Dave, why don't we take a break at this point? We'll gain more knowledge, and we will come back and finish the movie.
Sounds good. Hello.
Do you like scary movies?
Oh, hey, Scott. Yeah, of course. Why are you talking like that?
Sorry, I'm trying to be like Scream. So, what is your favorite scary movie?
Well, there's many choices, of course. I could go on for days, but I've recently gotten very into the new French Extremity, which contains elements of the Marquis de Sade and Grand Guignol.
Dave, I mean, yeah, that's all pretty good, but did you forget it's almost October, which is horror month on Dudes on Movies?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Look, every October we dedicate the entire month to spooky and scary films.
And it's coming up quick, and I hope the listeners are ready, because this is going to be a good one.
All right, man, well, I gotta go. Steve's coming over soon. He's big, and he plays football, and I wonder what's taking him so long.
All right, Dave, we're back from the break. Let's get some computer chips. What do you say? He ends up calling Marcy and says, I need that chip, the Mecha Mini or whatever you call it.
The Ming Mecha.
Okay. And so she says, well, how are we going to get it to you? Whatever. And they're going to deliver it to his house. And they bring it over. He gets the chip. And he installs it. And he starts to punch new numbers and like the Hebrew letters and stuff into the computer. I guess he's programming some new theories into there. He's doing stuff with the computer.
Yes.
Movie computer things.
He's doing stuff, did I know? And did he get the disc, the floppy from Lenny? Oh, yeah. Did that happen?
Did that come from Lenny, or was it,
in the
box with
no, it was
the Ming Mecha?
The Ming Mecha came by itself. The floppy came from Lenny, like when they met at the diner.
Okay, so that had like all the Hebrew stuff on it? Okay.
Yes, and I really like seeing the Hebrew characters on the MS-DOS interface.
That's right. I guess he met with Lenny right before he got this, and Lenny gave him the floppy. That's right, yeah.
Because he called Lenny, and you hear on the other end of the line, you hear like the faint Ben Shankman voice going, "Oh, hey, Max, how's it going? All right,
hey, you want to come hang out?"
Yeah. He want to come hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's so excited to actually hear from Max. And Max is just like, well, listen, I thought about it, and I want to help.
Yes. And so he's helping. He's got the disc, he's got the computer chip, and he's got his new theory.
Yes.
So he's ready to try this out.
And he's going to pursue the 216-digit number in this, I guess the disc must contain like the entire Torah. And so he's going to...
On a single floppy disk.
Honest, that's right.
Computers, man.
And he's going to make this work.
And he says, 1830, press return. But he hesitates. He doesn't hit return. He gets up out of his chair and starts walking around. He goes to the fridge, gets a drink out of there. You can start to hear the lovemaking next door again.
And the score
sweating and
it's doing the like just this it's not that same pulse before. It's now a doon, 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 doon. And Max is pacing around the apartment. He hears Devi and Farouk going at it again. He's got his soda and he wants to hit return. The cursor is blinking, but he can't do it because he knows that every time he hits return, bad shit goes down.
Yep. And eventually he says it again. 1833, press return. And then click, hits the button. And the screen starts doing crazy stuff. And it just returns all zeros across the whole monitor. I guess that's not what he expected to see.
Right.
He gets kind of frustrated with that. He takes the floppy disk out and crushes it with his hands and throws it in the trash.
Yes, I love that method of like disposing of your floppy, to just like pull it out of the machine and then like wad it up in your hands.
Like a piece of paper.
Yeah. Man, that's great.
I've never done that before.
I never have either. It just looks cool.
And I was like, you can probably still use that. As long as you didn't crease it too much.
Oh, I think it's done.
You think it's done?
Yeah.
Okay,
that thing is unusable.
All right,
now.
yeah. And so he starts to have another attack, and he runs to the bathroom, starts doing injections, and it's not really working. And you mentioned that like pinging sound on the soundtrack. It's getting worse and worse. And then it's added to this like whirring and buzzing sound on the soundtrack. And he starts like rubbing his temple like above his ear kind of, and he starts like cutting his hair there to like look at the flesh because there's something there bothering him, and there's this scar on there.
It's a big vein.
It's a vein? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was a scar. And at first I thought it was a spiral too, but it's just kind of like this weird like chicken foot looking thing.
It is, yes. And it's protruding from above his ear.
Yeah.
And it's like big and noticeable. And he thinks that might be the source of all his problems, which it probably is.
It could be. And so he starts like to hit the mirror with his hand and stuff because he's going nuts here with this stuff happening in his brain. He's doing more like medicine injections and stuff.
Yeah.
The computer ends up start doing weird shit while all this is going down. And like the 216-digit number shows up on the screen again. He's hitting the print button, but it's not working. So he starts to frantically kind of write it down on a piece of paper. And then the screen whites out. Like the whole, like the movie, it goes to a big white light again. And
before he starts to, as he's frenetically writing down the numbers, he stops when he gets to like the 20th digit, and he looks up at the screen again, and he realizes he knows the number because he sees the pattern.
Yep.
And like, so he just has the 216 digits now in his head.
Yeah, he knows what it is.
And about the writing down, I know it can't be the whole movie, but I find it very satisfying whenever Max writes formulas or graphs numbers on newsprint using that stubby art pencil.
Yeah, it's that thick ink.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so great. I just wish there was more of it. Like when he had the stock page and you see him like writing down the Fibonacci thing, and he had that he had put a square around one of his stocks, and then he drew a line to like one of his other stocks, put in a square around that, and he has them all connected and everything. It's just, it's really pleasing looking art. It looks like some of like Da Vinci's calculations when you look through his stuff.
Right, yeah, and it, like those squares you mentioned, like he could start doing that spiral in those too, probably.
Yes,
like
which he does. He does a little later. Yeah, he starts to draw the spiral, and it's like, and whoever's doing this freehand does a great job with that spiral.
And I don't know if you've probably noticed, but when he's writing the 216 number down, he's doing it in a slight spiral pattern. It's not left to right. The page is kind of turning as he's writing it to create this curve. I love it. And it doesn't complete, right? Because he stops writing, but you can see him doing that. You're like, this is going to spiral out of control. Like, the number will spiral all the way out off the paper if he keeps writing like that.
And speaking of left to right, it occurred to me a couple viewings ago that if Lenny's theory is correct about this 216-digit number, it might not work because Hebrew is written right to left.
Ah.
So, yeah, they're going to have to do this whole exercise more than once.
Got to figure it out the other way.
Yeah.
And so he ends up waking up because he whited out again. And Devi is in his apartment, and she's over him, kind of tending to him. And the landlord and Farouk are also there. And the landlord is pretty pissed off because who told you to put these locks on the door? Ugh. You're done. You're out of here.
God damn this lady. Oh.
I'm telling.
I know.
Yeah, I'm telling Marcy.
Obviously, this guy's been through something. And he's laying on the ground. He's bloody. And
come on, man.
Right.
And Farouk, it's Ajay Naidu.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
Of course you knew that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene where Ajay Naidu threatens Max.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Like on the DVD, it's called The Farouk Beatdown. And like Ajay Naidu just like pins him against the wall and tells him, hey, you better stay away from Devi, something like that. Yeah.
I need to watch it. By the way, I own the DVD.
Oh,
Dave.
cool.
I've had it for a while.
That's great.
But yeah, a fun fact I read is that Devi and Farouk, they also play a couple in Linklater Suburbia. They own the gas station there. They're not the same characters. For a moment, I thought it was a shared universe, but it's not. But they're a couple together in that movie. The same actors.
So the same actors, are they playing people named Farouk and Devi?
They're not. They're not.
Oh, okay.
They're not the same characters.
Got it.
But
okay.
I was like, that's interesting. The same two people are playing a couple in that movie too.
That's cool.
I wish they were the same people.
Yeah,
I mean, that came out, Suburbia, I think, came out a couple years before Pi. So
okay.
I think it was 96. But anyway, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, cool.
But anyway, yeah. He finally comes to with them all there, and he's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
There's not a lot of swearing in it. That's just flavor coming from me. But yeah, just, what are you guys doing here? Get out of my apartment. He's screaming at them.
And I love that response to that mean landlady. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she deserves that.
Yes.
Yeah. She sucks, man.
And part of this is because you remember that place I had in the Loop?
Yes.
I had a really cool landlady who looked a lot like this lady did. And she was super nice to me. She was always like, but when my power went out, she and her husband, they like ran a long extension cord up to their place. They lived right upstairs. And like they, it was a makeshift solution. It was a really old building.
It worked.
But it worked. They really went all out for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
They didn't sell you out to Marcy?
They did not make sure that some Wall Street goons came in and beat my ass.
Now, did you have 6 locks on that door? You probably should have in that area.
Holy shit. It was, yeah.
Dude, you were real close to Blueberry Hill.
Yes,
which
I was.
was the best. Anyway.
I were real close to Ranouche, too.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that place,
it was
by
a great
the way.
place, yeah.
But anyway, I guess it's sometime later in the movie.
Yes.
And Max is in his apartment. The phone is ringing, but he's not answering it. It's just this constant ringing happening in the background. And he's examining some of the numbers he wrote down, and we see him, and he's now completely bald. He's shaved his head. It's very clean. It's a Mr. Clean look.
Yes.
And he's looking in the mirror, and he gets that same awesome art pencil with like that oil-based tip.
Yeah.
And he's drawing kind of like those squares on his stocks, but around the vein on his head.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like surgical marks, like they're going to do something to him. And I really like that too, because it makes you feel unsettled as a viewer. You're like, what is he doing to his head? What's happening?
Yeah, he's getting too close to those veins with this pencil, because I mean, like, even before he starts drawing it, he's just like very lightly touching the vein, and you're like, oh, dude, don't touch it.
It's kind of like the brain on the steps. Like, don't poke that thing. What are you doing?
Exactly.
He just can't leave it alone. He's got to play with it.
Right.
And also he seems to have this new kind of hyper-focused demeanor about himself.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like he's, I don't know, there's something about him now. He's almost like gotten one step closer, and he knows it, and he's just die-hard set on continuing this.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters in this moment. And then he starts to see ants crawling on the stock ticker and stuff, and he gets up and he's going to kill it. But then he stops, and as if he's discovered something, and he sees the numbers going across the stock ticker, and he sits down, and he starts spouting numbers out, and whatever he says is the next number that appears. He's cracked the code in his mind. He's figured it out.
Yes, and because the 216-digit number is a part of him now, I guess he has like unlocked all secrets to the whole universe, essentially.
The S&P 500 at least.
Yes, which, I mean, if that is what powers everything we do, then yeah, I guess that is, that unlocks everything.
What about the Dow Jones? You think he's got that one?
Well, look, I mean, like, there's probably one for the Nikkei as well.
Yeah, how about foreign investments?
I mean,
dude,
Kai Rizdal will have him on the show at some point.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is what he's been pursuing.
Yeah.
He's got it now. And we've seen his change physically.
Yeah.
He's physically different. And so when you have this kind of power, like anytime in a movie someone kind of gains this knowledge they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I always feel like, okay, that's not good. Something bad's going to happen now.
Yeah,
Because you
of course.
should not possess this.
Yes. I mean, especially something like, something this powerful that could change the world. This is too much for one person to bear.
Yeah. And so he ends up going to Soul's place. They get in a big fight here again. I think he tells him, like, well, you lied to me about the numbers or something like that. And they get into an argument about it. And once again, he warns him. There's a lot of him warning him to stop pursuing this knowledge.
Yes, and I like at the end when Saul just goes, "Go home, Max. Get out of here.
Get out of my apartment." Yeah.
He's had enough.
Yeah, he's had enough. And he keeps yelling at him. But yeah, he leaves. He goes to the subway. And this is where he chases the photographer down. And who is the composer, you said?
Yeah, it's Clint Mansell.
That's awesome. He starts like taking pictures of him, chases him down, and he ends up running into Marcy again on the street, and she's got her goons with her.
Right, and the reason he chased down this photographer was because he thought for sure this was like Lancet Percy's spy, but it turned out that like he was just a student doing a project.
Yeah.
Which is a weird project to just take pictures of strangers in the subway, but I
don't
guess
think it's
I
that
buy
weird.
It. Well, I mean, okay, if I was doing this and someone said, "Hey," and then started chasing after me, like if I'm just doing a project, I'm going to go,
Right,
"Hey,
I'm not
listen,
going to run.
I'm just doing a project."
Right, yeah, his reaction was
Right.
inappropriate.
You're going to chase me through the whole city, and then when Max actually tracks him down, he acts like he didn't see it coming. Yeah.
It's just like, if someone yelled, "Hey," at me, I'd be like, "What?" I want to flee.
I know. Right. Yeah. Really dumb.
But anyway, he's up on the street, and Marcy shows up, and she's got her big dumb goons around, and they grab him, and they're gonna beat him up. I mean, they've had enough with this.
Right. They've lost their patience with Max, and they want. She produces the piece of paper he threw away in the park.
Yeah.
And she says, "You better be careful with your trash, Max." But they've got it. They've got the number, but they don't know what to do with it. And apparently they crashed the stock market because whatever they were doing with this 216-digit number,
all right,
they fucked it up. So they need Max to fix it. Not only fix their mistake, but then to unlock the keys to the S&P 500.
Yes.
He's going to do something with this number. Who the hell knows?
Can you
what?
do a math?
I don't.
And fix this fix capitalism, please.
Oh shit.
Oh man. And yeah, he's basically like, "No, get away from me." And he runs away. I think she smacks him at one point.
She
too.
does.
Gets a good smack.
Yeah, Marcy actually hits him like instead of the two thugs.
Yeah, she's the guy that does it. That's
Right.
awesome. And like he runs at one point. They find him again. He's like hiding under a car. You get some running through like a bodega and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that chase through the grocery store was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we haven't talked a lot about the film stock, but I think whatever it is that he chose to use with this dark, like it looks like it's a night shoot in New York City,
right?
With no light, like no additional lighting on the production. Mm-hmm. It's just using the natural light. It gives you some of the weirdest black and white imagery because it's so dark you can't see a lot of it, but you can also make out a lot of it, and it's got a unique kind of grain to it.
Dude, 100%. And I can't tell myself, but I want to say that like Rose Trochet must have used something similar on Go Fish.
Yeah, probably.
Those night scenes looked a lot like this too, where you can make something out, but it's tough to see. You have to really concentrate to like see those images because they're just not registering on this film stock. Yeah. And there's a kind of beauty to it, even though you're not really seeing what you want to see.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has to do with the equipment they're using or whatever. I know they shot on 16 mil.
They did, yes.
So maybe that has something to do with it.
Right.
But yeah, it is a very unique black and white look.
Right.
And it looks good. And so, yeah, he's about to get shot here because they have guns on him now. And Lenny shows up, and he ends up saving him.
Right. Lenny brings him into to their car, and they're in there with like three other guys, and it turns out Lenny wants that number too, and he starts to threaten him. He drops the facade of like the nice guy who wants to hang out.
Yeah.
And he's just like full on saying, you got to give us that number, Max.
Yeah, he's not asking you to hang anymore.
Right.
Yeah, give me the number. And the other guy in the back like starts like punching him in the face.
Start
and
roughing him up.
Beating him up a little bit. Yeah. Lenny's like, did you give it to him? Did you give him the number? You don't know what you're dealing with. This kind of stuff.
Yep.
Lenny knows there's something more here. And yeah, like you said, he did a good job hiding this.
Yeah.
He knew there was more to everything, and he didn't reveal everything to Max. And so they end up going to
it's a synagogue.
the synagogue, yeah. And he's surrounded by Lenny and all the other guys there. And I guess their leader is a guy named Rabbi Cohen.
Yes, Rabbi Cohen is played by Stephen Perlman, and he is, when Max comes to, because like the last time he got slugged, he got knocked out.
Oh, yeah. He whites out, and then we see him in the bathroom.
Yes.
And I wanted to touch on that. I'm glad you brought it back up. He's looking in the mirror, and he's holding a drill in his hand, and he looks in the bathroom sink, and the brain is sitting in the sink, and there's ants crawling all over it, and he starts to just like bash it with his hand, and like it's pretty gross stuff.
Yeah.
Like and it's a really weird, surreal thing. He's just punching a brain that's in this sink, and it's one of those like, I think it's just one of those like single sinks that's standing on this little pillar.
Yes.
So it's not like a big vanity that you see in a lot of places nowadays. It's just this porcelain thing on a pillar.
Yes, because this whole apartment is maybe 400 square feet. It's a studio.
It's a tiny thing.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's what happened when he whited out again. And then he comes to and he's here in the synagogue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rabbi Cohen has a much better demeanor, a much friendlier demeanor than Lenny, than the real Lenny does, and his
he starts apologizing.
Right.
Sorry about Lenny.
Yeah, he's been reprimanded, and Lenny's in the back just like shaking his head like, you motherfucker, because he wants this number. He wants to what the rabbi lays out is that this number, which we've spoiled it twice already, at least I have, like it represents the unspeakable name of God, the explicit name, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And once they intone this word, it will unlock the Messianic age. Now, this is not related to Pi the movie, but this explicit name, there's a name for the name itself. It's called Shem Ha-Mepharash. And I first heard that word, or I first encountered it when I read the Satanic Bible.
Okay.
You say it when you're praying to the devil. And if this word represents the explicit name, then that's quite a perverse gesture to build into your satanic prayers.
Mm-hmm.
That couldn't have been there was no mistaking that. They must have known that, they must have read the Torah. They must have read even the accompanying midrash, the other, documents.
Yeah.
And they must have known that, and they put that in as a real blasphemy,
mm-hmm.
which is that's really something.
Wow.
But they're standing there, they're doing this thing, and Stephen Perlman, he was in Seinfeld.
Who was he in Seinfeld? He looked familiar to me.
So he played Mr. Goldstein.
Okay.
Jerry's girlfriend Rachel lives with her parents, and because his parents are also in town staying with them, Jerry and Rachel can't get any privacy.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah, so they eventually go to see Schindler's List. And Newman spots them making out.
At Schindler's List.
Yes. Yeah. And he tells Mr. Goldstein about it. And he forbids Jerry from seeing his daughter. And Jerry and Rachel are in their 30s, and that's part of the joke. But in that episode of Seinfeld, Stephen Perlman's performance feels very similar to what he does here in Pi. Because in both roles, he's tall, and he's shot in the middle of the frame, and he speaks with great authority toward a young man who needs a talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and in this case, he's got a long beard because he's playing a rabbi.
Right. I felt he looked a little like Clancy Brown also.
Oh,
just
really?
a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much, but a little bit.
I see. Yeah.
Maybe in around the eye area or something.
Sure.
But yeah, he's telling them we need this information. It's the name of God, like you all said. And he's telling Max that, he's not worthy of this gift that he's been given. Like, we need this. You have to give it to us. We're pure. You're not.
Yes.
And I love Max's response. He goes, "You're not pure. How are you pure?" He's like, "Shut the fuck up. You are not pure."
I mean, yeah.
What are you doing?
You should have been in that car ride on the way over, Rabbi.
Yeah.
You see what purity looks like.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's Lenny. He's not pure, I guess.
No.
But yeah, Rabbi Cohen, he's quite pure, like all religious leaders.
Naturally, yes.
So he tells him, no, the gift you have is meant for us. You're like the delivery system, basically. And he's like, well, it was given to me, so sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. What can I tell you?
You're out of luck, man. And Rabbi Cohen tells him, well, it's killing you because you're not ready to receive it.
And about that, he's right, because it's the same thing that happened to Saul when he first encountered the number. Like, it is going to take you out if you don't know what to do with it.
Yep. And he ends up telling the rabbi, the number itself really is nothing. It's everything that's between the numbers. Mm-hmm. That's what's the secret.
Yes.
And I love his final indignation to the rabbi. I guess he's like, "Rabbi, I was chosen." I love how he says that to him.
Yeah.
Just like, not you, it was me.
Yeah, I like his defiance too, because he's not going to give this up, and he's right to be possessive of it. Yeah, he found this. This came from his work, and even if it is, going to essentially end life on Earth, that's for me to dispense.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, how does he get out of this? Do they let him go?
They let him go.
Okay, because then we see a bunch of frantic movement through the streets and stuff like that as he's doing the voiceover with his hypotheses again and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he goes back to Soul's place one last time, and a woman answers the door and reveals that he's not here. He's had another stroke. Max goes into the apartment. He's sitting there, he's looking around, and he finds a handwritten note that has the 216-digit number that I guess Soul wrote.
Yeah.
He must have known it the whole time. Or maybe he discovered it once Max had brought it up again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to say if he's had it the whole time or if Max saying that he encountered it made him get his research out again and start looking for it.
Right, and he found it and then had his heart attack again, or stroke.
A stroke, yeah.
And then I love this image. He looks over at the Go board, and if you haven't seen Go, it's a big square board with a bunch of smaller square spots on it, kind of like a checkerboard.
A grid pattern.
A lot smaller, grid pattern, a lot more squares on it. And you place either a black tile or a white piece down, and that's how you claim it.
Right.
And it goes on like that for the whole game. But he looks down at the Go board, and the black and white tiles are starting in the center, and they all are spiraling outward to the end of the board. And it's just so cool to see that. It's
such a cool way to arrange the tiles, and to know that that might have been when Saul had his stroke, was when he graphed the golden ratio on his Go board, and he had the 216-digit number in front of him, and then his brain just short-circuited.
Yeah, he was probably in a moment of communion while it happened.
That's right.
And then had his stroke because the power was too powerful.
Right.
I love it. It's so cool. It's one of my favorite shots in the film.
It's so great, yeah. And it explains, too, why Euclid, Max's computer, keeps crashing every time the number is encountered, because, that system can't handle it either.
Yeah, and at one of he and Soul's meetings, he mentioned something about his computer, and I think Soul says that the computer knows that it's nearing the truth, and it's almost sentient, and it's killing itself because of it. Something weird like that.
Yeah, and with what we're dealing with now, with the onslaught of the onset or onslaught, depending on your point of view of AI. I'm just that whole conversation had different meaning now. Because it's a bunch of people who
Yeah.
have no conception of what they've wrought onto the world, and they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, if we start seeing spirals everywhere, guys, like, it's over. Game over.
We'll see it.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And, God damn it.
Dave is just, like, completely done now.
You know, the other day, I was on Microsoft website, and this Copilot bullshit that they're forcing you to use, like it even says on Microsoft's own website, don't use this to do calculations because, you know, AI sometimes gets things wrong. Don't use it to do fucking calculation. Oh, you mean that program Excel that you invented, you know, more than 30 years ago that we've been using all this time and is perfectly fine? You don't want us to use that. Well, you keep using that.
Yeah.
Because that actually adds up numbers right.
Yep.
This AI slop that we're trying to give you, it doesn't.
It's last week. I like opened an Excel or a Word, whatever, and like the whole top half of my document is a Copilot prompt.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm trying to put something there. What are you doing?
I know.
Come on.
Yes. And you can't turn it off.
All right. Anyway, back to Pi.
Yeah.
We should do a whole separate Microsoft Copilot podcast.
I would love it. Yeah.
Anyway, where the fuck were we?
Max has gone home after he made the discovery about like Saul's Go board with the spiral.
Dave and I are about to be shaking and have seizures
Pretty
now
much,
because
yes.
of this Copilot stuff. But anyway, yeah, he ends up going back home because he saw the spiral on the Go board, and he's having another attack. He starts destroying all his equipment and his computer and the super mega mig, whatever it's called,
the
chip.
Ming Mecha.
Okay. Who named that chip?
Is
it from the Ming Dynasty?
I mean,
What
yeah,
is
I think that it's a combination of Ming Dynasty and, you know,
Yeah, and Mecca. Yeah, okay,
right,
gotcha. But yeah, he's destroying it all, and he starts shouting off the numbers, the 216 digits, as he's doing this, and it builds to a crescendo, and then suddenly the room goes white, and he's now standing in an empty space, just this white room, and he's whispering the numbers. The camera is kind of just focused on him standing there from like the waist up, and he's saying the numbers very softly now. So he went from that crazy destruction of the computer, screaming the numbers, to standing here peacefully, just whispering the numbers.
Yes.
And while he's doing that, we hear like other voices. I wasn't sure who it was, but are we hearing Devi's voice, the neighbor?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay, and then we see some hands touch his hands. Is that her hands?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I took away from it, but
Right.
It's not really revealed or anything.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
Then we see him looking at the paper he has with the numbers written on it, the one I guess he got from Soul's place. He's looking in the bathroom mirror, and he has this paper. He holds it up above the sink, and he lights a pack of matches and then burns this paper, throws it down. So he's taking action to get rid of this information.
Yes, because even though it's still, he's got it in his head, he doesn't want anyone else to find this and, you know, do whatever they're going to do with it.
Right. And when I was looking at Sean Gillette in this scene with that bald head and like that kind of long face, he looked like Stanley Tucci for a moment, like late in life Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, that's right.
Conclave Tucci.
Conclave Tucci, sure.
And I'm like, man, he's looking really good.
Yeah.
By the way, I do like the bald look. Like I think it looks good. I rocked it once a while back, and
yeah,
I like it. He looks a little too skinheady. Like he could be a little racist dude or something, but I think he's not.
You got to be careful with it.
You got to be careful with the look.
Right.
Yeah, so
I don't go full bald anymore. Like I just shave my head and it's like stubble. I will not do like, I won't bick it anymore.
I think I'll get there at some point.
Well,
but,
I mean, the thing is too, it only lasts for like, you know, like less than 2
you
hours.
do it all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. No thanks.
Right.
Anyway, he's in the mirror. He's looking good, and he burnt that page, and now we start to hear the sound of a drill, and we get a voiceover again about how he looked at the sun. And is this where he reveals more information?
So we missed it
happened?
earlier, but it was during one of his other times where he's walking down the street. He talked about like what he actually did, and yeah, he said that when he was looking at the sun, he did all he could to like not turn away. He said his pupils turned to pinholes, and at some point he just like saw nothingness, and then vision came back to him, and his eyes were like permanently damaged from him, and so was his brain, presumably, because like I guess they had to like they had bandages on his all over his head, and his sight didn't come back like I don't know for however many days.
Yeah,
and like he almost when you stare into the sun like that, I don't know how he lived through it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably wouldn't in real life.
I think we've all looked at the sun for a few moments,
Sure,
just to kind of see what happens, and we all turn away because we're like, "Holy shit, not doing that."
You can't handle it for more than a couple seconds.
No. And then you're stuck with the blinding stuff
Yes.
in your face for the next hour.
Right. And to know that he just stood there for probably 5 minutes until he keeled over and his mom had to take him to the hospital.
Oh my God, dude. So he's talking about all of that stuff here, and we hear that sound of that drill, and he raises the drill that's in his hand up into the frame, right up next to his head.
Specifically that vein.
Oh, the vein.
Yeah.
The vein is disgusting. And the moment gets really tense because we know what he's thinking. And he eventually does it. He shoves the drill into the vein.
Yeah, he is lobotomizing himself.
Yes.
And
Ooh.
now,
Ooh.
you've seen the movie twice. I've seen it a handful of more times than that. I think he's dead.
Okay, so you think he dies in this moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't know that they can fix you if you put a drill into the side of your head.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that, who knows? I don't know like what fatal injuries are, and like people have come back from,
Right.
really bad stuff before, but it just feels like if you put a drill like just with intention like that into your head and you touch brain, you get, I mean,
Yeah.
how
Oh
is
my
how are
God.
you coming? How is that going to be?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, the next scene, like we see it go in, it goes like an inch or two into his head.
Yes.
We see it happen. And then I don't remember if it cuts to the next scene or if it goes white again.
It goes white and then it fades into Max sitting at the park with Jenna.
Okay, yeah. The little girl, she's asking him to do another math problem.
Right.
He's sitting on the bench with her. She asks him some crazy thing, and he sits there, and he usually responds within a millisecond.
Yeah.
He knows the answer right away. And he sits there for a few moments and doesn't respond to her, and he smiles and says, "I don't know. What is it?" Which I love that reaction.
Yeah.
Like he realizes, wow, I don't have this power anymore. Good.
And the numbers Jenna gave him were, hey, Max, can you divide 748 by 238? And the answer to that equation is 3.14.
Yeah. Pi.
Right.
Yeah. And then he looks up at, like, she handed him a leaf. Like, hey, Max, look at this leaf. Isn't it pretty? Like little kid shit.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah. So then after he realizes this and smiles, like, he looks down at the leaf. He looks up at the limbs of the trees blowing. And then that's the end of the movie. Goes to credits.
Right.
So I guess he's relinquished this power somehow, and no one has it.
Yeah.
I guess he's saved the world by not allowing this to exist with the human race.
Which, and that's a fine ending. It's just that if the movie's trying to be realistic, then I don't think you can have Max live through that injury.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
And then also, we've mentioned how it's slightly surreal, the
Yeah.
film. So part of me thinks, like, did that even really happen? Did he even really drill himself?
That's possible too, yeah.
I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But yeah, like, if he did, like you said, like,
yeah.
you're going to be dead, or, I mean, it looks like he's on this bench a couple days later, like, at least it feels like almost immediate.
And he has no ill effects other than, like,
Yeah.
he can't do, he doesn't have, like, his math skills anymore. But other than
Right.
that, he looks like he's pretty happy.
Yeah, he looks fine.
Yeah.
Either way, I do like the ending of the film.
Oh, I do too.
I think it's great.
And
it leaves
maybe
questions,
the
which is
ambiguity
fine.
is fine.
I love ambiguity. It's
Yeah.
good. I do like to think that, yeah, he saved the human race by sacrificing himself.
Sure.
Whether he did die or not, something happened.
Yeah.
So,
And that sacrifice was definitely made, whether it was the way we saw it or not.
yeah. Do you have anything else, Dave?
Just that Darren Aronofsky, obviously, he's gone on to become, one of the most famous filmmakers in the world, and he's done a real varied output. We did a previous film of his in our original run. We did Mother, and we have to shout that because it's Mother with an exclamation point.
Yep. I think it was a listener request.
It was, yes. Sarah from Annapolis. I remember that specifically. And throughout all of his movies, he's kept like the same crew, like almost the exact same crew.
Yeah, I know Clint Mansell has composed most of his films.
Yes. And Matthew Libatique has been his cinematographer from the start. And he's gone on to work with Spike Lee, of course, too. And just to know that, like, Noah was shot by the same guy who shot Pi is really cool,
That's awesome.
And also, like, Clint Mansell, in Requiem for a Dream, his composition was called Lux Aeterna. It was this violin suite that you'd hear, it was like really moody, and it was played over that last, horrific sequence. And a variation of it was borrowed and used in other trailers for other movies for years. You've heard it a million times, everybody. And it's when you watch Requiem, you're like immediately or when you watch the trailers for other movies, you were like, they stole that from Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
How come nobody's saying anything? And it's because it was borrowed from this composition that Clint Mansell did.
Right. You're watching the new trailer for the latest rock movie, and you're thinking of Ass to Ass. Like, come on.
That's the way it should be.
They're ruining everything.
Oh, man.
Did you hear? I read that Pi was the first movie available for download on the internet.
I didn't know that.
I don't know how true that is, but it was 98. And that was around the time iTunes and things were coming around. And
well, 97 was Napster. So this was, all this crap was just starting.
Yeah. So I think for a legitimate, you could purchase the film and download it.
So it wasn't illegal.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I think it was you could probably get it illegally, right? Of course you could.
Yeah.
But I think it was I read it was the first legitimately purchasable film that you could download.
Okay.
Don't know how true that is, but that's kind of cool. You do need the supercomputer chip. You
need the Ming Mecha for it.
You need the Ming Mecha, otherwise it won't work.
I better go out and get it.
And that floppy disk. Oh, man.
Oh, Christ.
Anyway, yeah. Would you recommend the movie?
Of course. Yeah, everybody see Pi.
Pi is good. Everyone see Pi.
Yes.
All right, so that wraps things up. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the show anywhere you get your podcast. Rate it, review it, and most of all, share it. Gets more dudes listening to the dudes, and you can go to dudesonmovies.com and find anything you need right there.
Yep, and we're on Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Instagram. Look for Dudes on Movies, and our email address is dudesonmovies@gmail.com.
That's right, and Dave, we have a question of the week. What is the question of the week?
What are your favorite movies about recluses?
That's a good one. Hit us up and let us know your answers, and stay tuned next week when we discuss 1948's Rope, directed by Alfred Hitchcock and starring Farley Granger, John Dahl, and James Stewart. So until next week, I'm your dude Scott.
I'm your dude Dave.
And we'll see you next time.